Hello. We need to talk about David.
He's not worried about Celeste.
We now have confirmation that Celeste Rivas' body was found dismembered in 2 different cadaver bags in David's Tesla.
His friends, colleagues, and others apparently all mentioned the disgusting, horrible, rotting smell coming from the trunk of his Tesla.
This as the bombshell lands. Celeste bestie says Celeste was pregnant.
We need to talk about David. Remember the school shooters who would write about how much they wanted to be famous and acknowledged for their crimes because they felt it was a way to sort of immortalize themselves? I mean, we talk about them and these tragedies time and time again, but why would they want to be famous? Why would someone want to be famous for violent crimes, no less? Heck, the police have falsely named suspects in the past to get killers they knew were fame hungry to contact them in an attempt to clear things up. That guy is not the killer. He wants to take credit for my heinous, unspeakable crimes. Or was it just another Criminal Minds episode? I think there was a Criminal Minds episode I watched too many times. A 2016 University of Alabama article titled "When Fame Breeds Infamy: Shooters Who Want Attention, a Growing Phenomenon." Dr. Adam Langford, an associate professor in the Department of Criminal Justice, studies the similarities between fame-seeking mass shooters. Yes, David is not a mass shooter, but I believe his motivations and theirs aren't all that different. If my fame-hungry, mentally unstable, emo-aspiring incel theory is true to the article. Langford said one shooter from 1997 initially planned to commit suicide, but instead decided to kill others because, in the shooter's own words, "My friend said that my face and name would go across the world. He said I'll become famous." And another said in 2014, "I had to act weird in order to gain attention. I was tired of being the invisible shy kid. Infamy is better than total obscurity." We have somebody who had no desire to live, and it was somebody else who encouraged them to go out with a bang, if you will. I don't know if the person ended up doing I don't know if the person ended up doing the deed, but that's alarming, isn't it? This individual had an accomplice of sorts, someone who just so happened to be just as twisted, if not more so, than he was. People who are disturbed enough to think this way, knowing other people who are just as disturbed, that's insane to me. Were they friends because they bonded over these kinds of things? Maybe they were both depressed and they found comfort in having somebody who can relate, and they just so happened to be psychotic. I'm not diagnosing them, but I think psychotic, I think calling these people psychotic, I think that's fair here. David having help himself has been alleged countless times. Look, I relate to the second guy. Being shy and having to act weird for attention is so mentally and emotionally draining. I don't relate to the whole killing somebody over it, by the way, but he says infamy is better than total obscurity. And according to my Googles, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention points to loneliness and isolation as serious public health risks. Loneliness is associated with higher anxiety, depression, and suicide rates, as well as physical health outcomes. But what's more notable is this: according to Langford's study, they also tend to be younger. While the average mass shooter is 34.5 years old, the average fame-seeking mass shooter is only 20.4 years old. We also have David Berkowitz, also known as son of Sam, who seems to enjoy the media attention, and by result, celebrity status his crimes had garnered him.
Targeting young women and couples, I would approach them in their cars and open fire, leaving behind a trail of death and fear. My delusion led me to believe that a demon commanded me to kill, communicating through my neighbor's dog. The media coverage intensified the fear and paranoia across the city. New Yorkers lived in constant anxiety, dreading my next attack and unsure of who would become my next victim. However, in August 1977, my reign of terror came to an end. I was captured, arrested, and ultimately confessed to the shootings. I was convicted of multiple counts of murder, and am currently serving multiple life sentences.
The 20-year-old Queens, New York-born singer and songwriter is in a lot of trouble. On the 8th of September, the decomposed and dismembered remains of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez were discovered in the front trunk of an impounded Tesla registered to David.
The prosecution has surveillance footage of David being the last one to drive the Tesla before it was ultimately left where it would be towed. His friends, colleagues, and others apparently all mentioned the disgusting, horrible, rotting smell coming from the trunk of his Tesla. On July 29th, 2025, so 3 months after Celeste had been murdered, he would move the car before leaving for tour. Evidence is listed by the prosecution and states that David is the one driving. Teslas have a lot of cameras. This was on a Ring camera, so I'm sure they are able to prove that this was David driving the Tesla.
According to reports, the car was abandoned in Hollywood Hills for at least a month before it was towed. When the news broke, many were worried, yes, but most people, more especially his fans, believed David to be innocent. Many guessed his car had been stolen, and some assailant tried, sloppily so, to cover up his crime. He was nowhere near LA at the time, so alibi, check. He's elsewhere working, many said. Believing that to be enough proof he wasn't at all involved, many TikTokians celebrated when they found out he could not be linked to the murder, but time makes a fool of us all. Before we go any further, we first need to understand how David got to be one of the biggest breakout stars of the early 2020s.
I was a Fortnite YouTuber for a really long time. Since the game came out in 2017, I was making montages on YouTube of like my gameplay, putting music behind it, trying to be like the best. And then my videos got copyright striked, so I couldn't make money off of it. And I was like, yo, I don't know what to do. I go to my mom, I'm crying. I'm like, yo, mom, I'm not making money no more. I don't know what to do. Da, 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 da. She's like, how about you make your own song? So I'm like, all right, bet, let me do that. So I looked up how to make music on iPhone. So I called BandLab comes up. I'm like, all right, bet. So now I got to find a place to use this as my studio. So I go to the kitchen at first, too much echo. I go to my room at first, too much echo. Like there's just like not a place I could find to make music. And my closet isn't a walk-in closet. My closet is like just like one-dimensional almost. It's just like room for hangers and nothing else. So I go to my little sister's room, and of course she got the biggest room in the house because she's the favorite kid. So I'm like, all right, bet, let me use her closet because it's a walk-in closet, and I put up all these clothes. I put up like robes and like things like that to kind of insulate the sound. And I spoke into the mic for the first time. I was like, oh, okay, this is the studio. So I go on YouTube, and I'm like, I need something to kind of practice. I need something to practice on, and I don't know how to sing. So what do? Essentially, I got a beat off YouTube. I looked up Billie Eilish type beats because I was like heavy into Billie Eilish at the time. Still am, but like I was really, really heavy into Billie Eilish at the time. And then I looked at Billie Eilish type beats. This piano ballad thing comes up. I'm like, I bet I'm using this. I import it in the BandLab. I get the Apple headphones in. I'm like, all right, bet, let's see how to do this. So I didn't look up no tutorials. I didn't know how to make music. I was just like, I'm winging it. So I learned how to use plugins. I learned how to use reverb. I learned how to use EQ. I learned how to use compressors. All in that very night. I stayed in that closet maybe 6 hours that day, bro. It was a long day. I was just in there cooked because like there's no AC unit in that closet. I was just sitting there sweating my balls off, bro. I'm thinking about lyrics. I'm thinking about the most basic thing I could say at the moment. And all I could think of was just saying run away a million different times.
He was born in Queens, New York, but later moved to Texas. His family was Christian, and as a result, David only acknowledged and consumed gospel music for the first 13 years of his life. He was immersed in the online space, and it's there that a passion for gaming grew. The gaming platform Fortnite drew his attention. Fortnite regularly collaborates with music artists for in-game content. Huge artists like Nicki Minaj have had their avatars, I guess you could call them that, appear as playable character skins. There are also festivals and music concerts that bridge the gap between real-life entertainment and the digital packaging of these experiences. David discovered a lot of secular music at this time, more especially indie music. Gameplay videos, which feature direct, unedited, or minimally edited footage of the game, are popular on platforms like YouTube. But because the music featured is copywritten, I'm not an Englishian, okay? I'm not an Englishian. David was not able to share them without getting a strike. This forced him to create his own music to accompany the visuals, and just like that, a gateway that allowed him to hone his skills as a musical artist later led to him having one of the most fast-paced blow-ups in the social media space today. After other Fortnite players started using his music on their own gameplay visuals, he realized there was something there, and he worked to find it. Already a talented vocalist, he featured his soothing vocals on the track Romantic Suicide, which debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 and surpassed 75 million streams. He's flippin' big in Asia. He's big in Asia. Heck, he's big everywhere. He met Cat Eye, Bad Bunny, SZA, and even collabed with Kelly Uchis.
Ooh, I just dropped this one song with Kelly Uchis just now called Crashing.
Tell us about that record.
I was in Houston, was in my closet. I make everything on my phone too, BandLabs, the vibes. And I made this song off a YouTube beat. I was like, yo, I might need to send it to somebody for the second verse. I was like, you know what? Kelly Uchis might fit on this perfect. So I sent it to her. She worked so fast, bro. She sent me back the verse the next day.
She took down the record, by the way, because you sort of you are the girl. The singer found out about the incident, and she was of course taken aback. She was shocked, but she did the right thing. She did not want her name attached to such a person. She did not want a collaboration, something her fans listened to, something her fans associated with herself, to then be associated with such a person. And I feel like that's good, that's safe. I love it when music artists step up in that way. As the title of the track suggests, Romantic Suicide has a very dark and twisted theme. The song is about unrequited love. The lyrics tell us the writer is lost and confused. He's grappling with the feelings of loss of a love that was only beautiful through the eyes of one beholder, but not as heart-churning of a sight to the other. He blames himself for the breakup, and I have to read you these lyrics, but the last thing they paint is a pretty picture. Verse 1 reads, I'm scared, it feels that you don't care, enlighten me, my dear, why am I still here? I don't mean to be complacent with the decisions you made, but why? He takes us to verse 2 and he says, in the back of my mind, you died. and I didn't even cry. No, not a single tear, and I'm sick of waiting patiently for someone that won't even arrive. Let's wrap it up with the third verse. In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't even believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you. Oh, he confessed. To me, he confessed. That was a confession. It's a confession. So this is what led me back to my Criminal Minds obsessed true crime watching. My one fear is that David, by the way, somebody thought that it meant dead, the way he spells his name D4VD, but that's just a theory. That's just a theory. Because of him not including the I, because David has an I. You know what? This made me wonder, did David or Dad want to get caught? Now, according to my Googles, yeah, we're going back there. Fame seeking is often intertwined with a desire for notoriety and validation for their crimes, leading them to manipulate or provoke media coverage, according to research on the subject. The National Library of Medicine published findings from the SAIL study. It explores the prevalence of risk behaviors, which is being seated and being inactive for a considerable amount of time, high use of internet, TV, video games for reasons not related to school or work, and truancy, which is inexplicable absenteeism, and their association with psychopathology and self-destructive behaviors. This is my life, you guys. The results of this study indicates that the prevalence of risk behaviors and psychopathology among European adolescents is relatively high. Almost all studied risk behaviors show an increase with age, and most of them are significantly more frequent amongst boys. The only exceptions are sedentary behavior and reduced sleep, which are more frequent among girls. The only exceptions are sedentary behavior and reduced sleep, which are more frequent among girls, who also have more internalizing psychiatric symptoms such as depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. David was homeschooled and spent a large chunk of his days on the internet playing video games for reasons not related to school or work. There was a sudden shift from him exclusively listening to gospel music to then listening to indie artists and interacting with people who shared different values and beliefs. That quick a shift in influence, interest, and social circle can be without any drawbacks. According to Psychology Today, while violent video games may contribute to aggression, empathy reduction, and violent language use, these effects depend on individual differences, parental involvement, and the broader social environment. Rather than demonizing video games, fostering responsible gaming habits and encouraging positive digital experiences can help children navigate the gaming world healthily. The two that loudly ring a bell there for me are aggression and empathy reduction, which takes us back to his lyrics. I killed you and I didn't even regret it. You can tell David is very much in tune with his feelings. His music wouldn't be so spellbinding if it wasn't, in my opinion. In the second verse, he goes, in the back of my mind, you die, and I didn't even cry. No, not a single tear. And I'm sick of waiting patiently for someone that won't even arrive. I don't remember how that part goes. I believe the person who won't arrive is a version of himself that would have cried. I feel he was waiting to be normal, that he was trying to conjure up feelings of empathy, and he had none. I believe he understood that very well. He goes, in the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. Can't believe I said it. But it's true, I hate you. I believe he was stunned by how unable he was to register positive emotions. On Quora, it's a platform. On Quora, someone asked, can a person who lacks empathy still feel emotions when hurting others' feelings or making them upset? According to Aidan John Prince, who studies psychology and human behavior at Yale University, he goes, yes, for example, a sadistic individual will experience positive emotions when hurting others, whether emotionally or physically. These emotions are real and can be very intense, providing a rush that motivates the sadist to seek further opportunities to inflict harm for personal satisfaction or amusement. Other emotional expressions, such as anger, can also be intense. The emotion is strongly felt and acted upon without regard for its impact. For individuals who lack empathy, there may be no additional feelings associated with harming others, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Goes on to say, in my case, due to a neurological condition affecting empathy, I do not feel remorse for harming others. My perspective is that once something is done, there is no reason to dwell on it. If I acted, it was likely the right decision for me at that moment and served a personal benefit. Anything that provides me with a benefit or pleasure by definition cannot be wrong. I can easily justify my actions and have never genuinely felt guilty. Guilt doesn't make sense to me because I don't see the point in dwelling on it. This perspective allows me to rationalize or justify my actions without incorporating guilt into the equation. If David really did do this, him lacking empathy would explain a lot. We need to talk about his music videos and performances. 3 years ago, David uploaded Runaway, and the art cover alone tells a story. It shows two girls seemingly running away with ghosts approaching behind them. I would argue the other girl is trying to stop the one ahead from fleeing. They could both just be heading the same way and sharing a word or two in the process. The lyrics are a read. I got issues, but you wouldn't know. So many times that I tried not to show them. Please don't run away. Don't run away from me. Please don't run away. Don't run away from me. What's the issue? What's up with you lately? Said you don't want me, but you are the one I need. And you run away. Please don't run away. I got a place that you can stay. Please don't run away. He goes on, just begging her not to run away. You know, he had issues, but he tried not to show them. He doesn't want her to run away. He has a place that she can stay. See, this is interesting because Celeste was reported missing just a year or two later in April 2024.
So around last week, a body was found in David's trunk. Police have released information on who they found. Her name was Celeste. I'm not gonna hide the truth from you. This is her now. I want you to notice a few things, okay? What I'm showing you is a missing persons report because Celeste was missing last year, last seen in Lake Elsinore. Remember that place. Also, I want you to take note of that date of birth, 2010. You don't got to do the math. I'll show you the age right here. So remember, her name's Celeste, last seen Lake Elsinore. Peep the age. Now, when all these facts were released by police, people on the internet started to connect some dots. Now, I want you to listen to what I just said. I said people on the internet. Okay, so take some of this with a grain of salt. First things first. There are reports that on David's Discord, he was talking to a girl named Celeste. Here's David. He said, Celeste in here. Celeste said, hi, David. Bark. Speaking of David's Discord, apparently Celeste's name popped up a few more times. David said, I'm in a song crisis right now to everyone on his Discord. Somebody said, drop the one with the missing girl, Celeste.
His songs are like a script for a horrific thriller. Celeste was forcibly cast in. He then drops the official audio for You and I about a month later, and the cover art again shows two characters walking hand in hand, but this time it's less eerie. Romance definitely is a theme here. I dream about you and I, but why do I even try? Because you're running away, and I'm trying to stay. But what I'm trying to say is that I've been okay, but without you, feel like I'm trapped in a maze. We are going our separate ways, and I'm without you. I dream about you and I, but why do I even try when you're running away, and I'm trying to stay. I dream about you and I, but why do I even try when you're running away, and I'm trying to stay. Different options and different paths. I hope you're happy. I hope it lasts. Let's hope we can leave everything in the past. Times are changing, and my time you're wasting while you're here. You're never near me. You act like you fear me. Now it's clear I dream about you and I, but why do I even try when you are running away, and I'm trying to stay. I dream about you and I, but why do I even try when you are running away, and I'm trying to stay. In the song, he seems to be disheartened by the love interest's need to get away from him. He tells us that times are changing and she seems to be wasting his time. He says that she's never near him and she acts like she fears him. The character was definitely aware of how troubled David was, as he points out in Runaway. In this track, her need to get away from him is evident. He of course implies she misunderstands him. You know, the classic good guy. I'm doing my best. I care for you. So why can't you overlook everything else? Him being scary is just quirkiness. He's different and she just doesn't get it. His lyrics are a lot, yes, but what adds another layer to this alleged obsession with Celeste is how similar in appearance the girls he cast in his visuals were to the young teen. The girls always have the same hair texture, almost similar facial features, and look just as youthful. In Romantic Homicides, there are scenes of him standing over what is implied to be a corpse. There are bloodstains all over the white bed. White roses bloom, her beauty and her innocence reincarnated but still covered in the same pain she's always known. These visuals racked up 203 million views, which is nothing compared to the 292 million views his video for Here With Me brought in. The video showcases a young love with all of the intense and overly passionate feelings it conjures up. The lyrics are about how happy our main character is in the presence of the love interest. It's about growing older together, even if it is a dream yet to be realized. The scenes with him and the love interest are interesting. They're just as beautiful and cheerful as they are dark and dreary. These were not just clear red flags, no, these were deep burgundy. Too many. His entire catalog is a confession of sorts, and it sure reads like it. We need to go through all of the things that have everyone convinced there's just no way this guy didn't do it. Also have to talk about the alleged unreleased track he titled Celeste. Yeah, there's an unreleased track titled Celeste. According to Genius, recorded in late December 2023, named after a former partner of David's, Celeste is an unreleased song expressing his deep emotions for the alleged subject. Over a sad piano melody, David expresses his love for the subject, ending with a guitar solo. Following the announcement for decomposed body found in a Tesla under David's name, many of his unreleased songs would begin to surface online. However, on September 17, 2025, Celeste surfaced following multiple sources revealing that David allegedly groomed, sexually assaulted, and murdered Celeste Rivers Hernandez, who was born September 7th, 2010, who was reported missing in April 2024, a year prior. This is Genius, okay? It's on the Genius page, okay? Not my words. The most popular part of the song goes, "Oh, Celeste, that girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Oh, Celeste, afraid you'll only love me when I'm dressed. But you look so damn gorgeous in that dress." Now, a lot of people do suspect he may have assaulted her sexually. She was a minor, so she could not have consented to anything. He also had an alarming amount of Hello Kitty merch.
One of Celeste's friends leaked a photo that Celeste had allegedly sent her. There's no faces. You just see, it's like if you were to hold your phone pointing to the floor and then take a picture. So you see Celeste, allegedly Celeste pants and Hello Kitty Crocs, the same one that she's been photographed in. And then you see David in the same outfit, allegedly David, and she's kind of tugging on the Hello Kitty keychain that's attached to his belt loop.
David is a very colorful person, and his fashion sense is a reflection of this. It's very playful, it's very childish, it's heavily influenced by goth culture and Y2K teen drip era. Many online users speculate his style was a way to pacify his unsuspecting victim. He wanted to seem relatable and harmless, and that is what his more kid-like persona afforded him. Again, allegedly. Yes, he was very eccentric in general, and ageism is part of why people police adults who enjoy kid-centric media, but predators do also use being into more kid-friendly things as a way to bait their victims and gain their trust.
It doesn't surprise me that he has a lot of Hello Kitty in his branding and in his clothes. Something about grown men who co-opt these like children's cartoons in their style. They always end up being really creepy people. Picture a grown man who is alternative, who's saying stuff like, "Oh, I need a Hello Kitty girl. Oh, I need a girl that's slightly autistic. Oh, I need a girl who has BPD. Oh, I need a girl who loves Sanrio." Pedophile. 99% of the time, pedophile. I'm telling you right now, the next one is Labubu's. Also, people hate when you point it out. It's always the same genre of men. It's always men who like anime and like gaming. I don't know why those... Actually, I was gonna say, I don't know why those genres attract so many pedophiles, but have you seen Japan? That's like pedocentral.
Editing me here, there's a bunch of stuff I probably left out, but yes, I just wanted to put my thoughts on paper. Well, not paper, put my thoughts on a video. But rest in peace to Celeste. She was so young, and I hope that the story is a warning to a lot of younger people out there. I hope that it's a warning to all of us to be more vigilant, to not take things that are obvious red flags as a joke. Like the things he allegedly did to her, like they are just so, they're so horrendous. And I pray that she gets justice. Our justice system, I don't care where you are, just the justice system in general, it failed so many young girls like her. There was so much people could have done to protect her, and nobody stepped in. Now, I'm not going to go in on her parents because, again, I don't know anything. A lot of people on the internet have been doing that, but I hope a lot of people who do have a Celeste in their family, who do have a young girl, that they can actually step in and help with situations like this. I hope that people are doing that. I hate that there's still people who are defending David. That is horrendous, that is awful, but the world we live in, right? Anyway, yeah, just be careful out there and do not just trust anyone. I mean, with Celeste, from what I hear, she just didn't have a chance. She just didn't have a shot. She just did not have a chance. I definitely hope her parents were actually supportive of her. Again, that part I'm not very clear on. If they were not, that is awful. It is so, that is so awful. RIP to her. Tell me what you think. Do you? And if you don't believe David did it, I just block me, okay? Just unfollow, just unsubscribe. Just share your thoughts. These were my own. Again, I feel there's a lot of things I left out, but I just wanted to talk about the things that I've heard people talking about in relation to this case. Yeah, there was also like the thing about him having friends who may have known lots of content creators, a lot of other artists he was collaborating with. I cannot remember their names. I did not add that here, but yeah, I believe somebody was arrested because they did not want to testify. But yeah. Bye.